Hello, New Zealand. It is Wednesday morning, middle of the week. It's the 3rd of December. Good to be with you. And this is Daybreak. Alrighty, 3rd of December. What is it, 22 days to Christmas? We're all counting down, aren't we? It's a grey day in Christchurch, according to Lynette, and it's a fine day in Mosgiel, according to Strong and him. Sandra says it's sunny and windy in Te Araha, and it's a fine day. Daryl and I agree outside. But then again, we're not meteorologists, so we really don't know whether it's fine or wet, do we? Remember that Supreme Court judge who was asked, what is a woman? Because she was appointed to be a Supreme Court judge because she was a woman by Biden. She was asked, what is a woman? And she says, well, I don't know because I'm not a biologist. Yeah. So anyway, maybe we don't know what the weather is because we're not a meteorologist. Anyway, nice to have you on board. Let's get straight into it. This has got to be the most spectacular own goal by both the media and the left. And it's another... school lunches, it's gone very quiet, hasn't it? Remember back, let me show you this graph. This is back in February, March. This is just Radio New Zealand, taxpayer-funded Radio New Zealand. They just couldn't get enough of talking about school lunches. And the blue is news items, the red are actually audio clips. So they're going out interviewing. They just were talking about it. It was a complete failure. And then it went quiet. And then sort of more recently, March and then April, they found a fly. Somebody found a fly. A friend of a friend of a friend said they found a fly in a school lunch. And so it was front page news once again. But then on April the 1st, which is kind of ironic, they said, well, no, unable to proceed. Apparently the fly story wasn't really there. Well, the latest one is this one. And it's Hayata Community Campus, which apparently is in Christchurch. And there has been multiple stories on all media platforms about this because suddenly the media could talk about these lunches again because they really don't like kids being fed because it's a government initiative. And especially it's a David Seymour initiative and he's been trying to save money for the taxpayer. But it's gone very quiet because the lunches have been delivered. They've been very good and nobody's been out complaining. So it's been tough. It's been very tough for the opponents. But anyway, this lunch that is shown here turns up to a school. It's got fluff and stuff. Now I don't know about you, but have you ever seen a meal like this? Have you ever eaten a meal like this? It happened once or twice. In fact, I think I've even put bread in the toaster that sort of has fluff on it as well and said, come on, kids, just toughen up. Anyway, this meal arrives, not that good looking to eat, right? And the media are all over it. But here's the thing. This is a commentary that I got from Kiwi Blog that asks some very good questions. Many schools received lunch from the same distributor. How is it possible that just one school received the bad lunch? Secondly, this particular school principal has made apparently almost a dozen complaints about school lunches. Should that be taken into account? Yes. The principal recently asked for an exemption from the program. Should that be taken into account by the media before rushing to the story? Yes. And is it possible that the meals were left over and then reserved by accident? Well, that's what the New Zealand Food Safety have said. That apparently, according to the suppliers, 9 boxes went to the school last week and only 8 came back. So, whoops, accidentally the school has given out this food from last week. A mistake. But they made a big mountain out of a molehill and because they thought, great, here's a chance to put the knife into these meals, and it backfired spectacularly. But as the commentaries are saying, it's not only an own goal for the school, but it's also an own goal for the media. That they rushed the story, they rushed it out, and they didn't do any due diligence. And it actually feeds into the Oxford Word of the Year, Oxford Dictionary Word of the Year, which we'll come to shortly, called rage bait. But basically, this is exactly what has happened. A massive own goal by the groups that are wanting to, schools principals that are wanting to get rid of meals in schools because they don't like David Seymour. And it's also a massive own goal for the media for not doing their research and due diligence. But hey, the ideology and the narrative was there, so they just jumped on it. And unfortunately, it doesn't help their trust, does it? Now, speaking of that, here's another bit of media coverage that you will see today. And I just want to throw some context on this one. So you will hear today that apparently 1 in 5 new school leaders quit within a year, and principals have been walking out of the job a huge amount in the last 3 years. Now, the clear implication from this story, look, there is an issue here that there is a turnover of school principals, but there's also a turnover of teachers in some schools as well. Some schools hold on to staff very well. Others, there's a lot of turnover each year. But this is the key context. The data for these principals that are walking away from the job or are quitting is based on the beginning of 2022. So 2022, 23, 24, and then into this year. Now, here's the key thing. The finger will be pointed at, this is the government's fault. This is the national government's fault, the coalition's fault. The problem for that narrative is that this data begins in 2022, 2023. Who was the government then? Labour. Who was the Minister of Education? Jan Tinetti. Yeah, scary times. Okay? So just keep that in context when you hear all the narrative around this, because it'll be the government's failing at their job, but in fact, this issue has been going on for a lot longer, and in fact, it started under Labour. Important narrative. The Radical Partha group, they have filed a legal injunction against banning puberty blockers because they are desperate to chemicalise kids and interfere with the natural process of puberty. They think puberty is a disease. It's not. And they say that apparently the ban on puberty blockers is just based on politics. It's not based on the Cass review or the Finnish study or the HHS report that has just come out, or the Swedish research, or the fact that basically there is no research to show that puberty blockers is safe or that it is effective. No, apparently it's all political because they don't like it. So that is Partha. They're a radical activist group. And funny, they did a petition and they had a lot of signatures. Well, they had about 350 signatures, I think I counted. Was it 350? No, it was 389. So they will think, oh, wow, that's a lot of medical professionals. Actually, that's a tiny amount of the overall medical professional workforce and counsellors. But I started having a look through the list on who's on the signatory list of Partha wanting puberty blockers, and I found a euthanasia researcher, a they, them finance officer. There was people from Partha. There was someone who was in IT. There was a number of activists. We had an intern. We had a wife of an activist. And so I just started this process, and it was actually quite funny as you dig down into the names on this list. Are they the medical experts and the professionals? Are they like, Dr. Cass? Have they gone into that research? No, they haven't. Anyway, that one will continue. I saw this poll yesterday on Stuff. I was just fascinated by it because Stuff redid a story about Australia's social media ban, which is starting at in 2 weeks. And I was just interested in a very strong result that 78% think that a social media ban is supported. There is one thing that I am thinking around this whole social media ban, and that is that I think the problem it's going to have is the cold turkey aspect. It's expecting Australian kids to just go cold turkey. And I think maybe if you're going to go down this track without having the digital ID of adults and having big government intervention, which Australia seems to be doing, it may be better to do a more incremental. So basically start the ban from here on. So, when basically kids under 16 from now on who aren't on these platforms can't get on them. Rather, than immediately just pulling the rug from under kids, because as they found in Australia, most of the kids are on social media. So yeah, that's my only concern around this, is whether the cold turkey approach is going to work rather than a incremental, let's give you warning, you need to prepare for this, and certain ages are going to be affected. So anyway, it's going to be a very interesting experiment, and we need to watch. Well, I think the world is watching Australia, so it is going to be interesting. The latest listener is on your shelves. Don't buy it. I've read it. You don't need to now. But it's it's paranoid about the conservative right and the global rise of radical conservatism. And so I've actually done a McBlog on it yesterday. Wow, they're really freaking out now. And we just read parts of the article, the hysterics in it, some of the words, some of the experts that they go to. It's it's had huge views. So obviously people are enjoying it. So make sure you check out that one. This is a fascinating article in the Post, and I'm fascinated that they printed it. So this is the Post in Wellington, and it's stuff. And they're quoting a survey out of the US of teenagers 13 to 18. Let me read what it says, because I'll tell you what, the media should be panicking at this. Asked by the News Literacy Project, so this is a survey, major survey of 13 to 18-year-old Americans, for one word to describe today's news media, 84% of teens responded with something negative. 84%. Biased, crazy, boring, fake, bad, depressing, confusing, scary. About half of the teens surveyed believe journalists give advertisers special treatment, make up details such as quotes, or pay or do favours for sources almost or always, or almost always, or often. And about 6 in 10 of the respondents say journalists regularly take photos and videos out of context. About 1/3 or less believe that reporters correct errors when they happen, confirm facts before reporting them, gather information from multiple sources, or cover stories that help protect the public interest at least often. Practices ingrained in the DNA of reputable journalists. Now, the experts say few teens follow news regularly or learn in school about the purpose of journalism. They don't need to learn about the purpose of journalism. They just need to observe it. But the article says journalists don't help themselves with mistakes or ethical lapses. Yes, ethical lapses that make headlines. Opinionated reporters or commentators in an era of political division make readers wonder what to believe. And the Washington-based News Literacy Project said some of this attitude is earned, but much of it is based on misperception. No, I think most of it is earned. But yeah, it's a damning survey, because basically the news media are losing the next generation, which I have said before. And I showed you this graph from the BSA, the Broadcasting Standards Authority did a survey just recently. And you'll see there I've circled the 18 to 24-year-olds are not going to news websites or television news, 6 o'clock news, or even radio. Their prime source of information is social media, which is why the news media hates social media. Out the right there, you'll see that people keeping the 6 o'clock news alive is the boomers over 65. Yeah, I'm a boomer, but I'm not over 65. So anyway, but basically you can see it's the older generation that are slowly turning off the TV news and also news websites. So it's looking pretty bleak. Anyway, our state-funded Red Radio New Zealand, they reckon their radio audience has bounced back. Yes, it's bounced back, and they have got listeners again. So I thought I'd dig into this and just see if they're correct. Let me show you the graph that they're relying on. And the red is Radio Red, which is very applicable. Radio New Zealand, taxpayer-funded, left-leaning, struggle with balance. And you'll see there that red, so I've drawn that orange line just to show you where the current level of listenership is now, the bounce back, okay, out the far right, not for Radio New Zealand, of course. So out the far right, you can see where they are now. And I've put the orange line there, and it goes right across. And you will see that they have not bounced back to the good old days of 2022, 2023. Maybe they're slightly better than last year. But remember, this is guesstimates. Is it the margin of error? I don't know. So if they say that's a bounce back, okay, well, good on them. I was also interested, though, just in the blue line, which is News Talk ZB, which is the other main competitor. And I've drawn a line, as you'll see there. I think they should be worried. Radio should be worried because you can see there just a gradual drop over time. They still are number one, but it's a gradual top. In fact, let's just have a look at the breakfast show. This is Mike Hosking against Morning Report. And I mean, obviously you guys don't listen to it because you're watching this. Good decision. But you can see there, that blue line of News Talk ZB, the breakfast audience is, you can see it's dropping. Radio New Zealand, wow, they had huge listenership back in 2020 and then a big drop. And it's just sort of been on the decline, maybe a little tick up at the end. Yeah, anyway, I think they should be worried. Let's just go to the Oxford Word of the Year for 2025. And it says, if scrolling social media lately has left you clutching your phone in anger, congratulations, you've officially met the Word of the Year. Oxford University Press, it wasn't Oxford Dictionary, sorry. Oxford University Press has crowned rage bait as its 2025 word or phrase. And it's defined as online content deliberately designed to provoke anger or outrage by being frustrating, provocative, or offensive. And it's been used at least since 2002, but its use has tripled in the last year. And it's a common slang term for an attention-seeking form of online behaviour, according to Oxford University Press. So there we are, rage bait. If you're actually, I mean, I have rage bait watching the 6 o'clock news. So, but this is online scrolling social media. Okay, so mine's a different rage bait because I'm yelling, saying, "Talk some facts, will you?" Right. Now, gosh, we're doing well today. Might finish early. That's okay because I've got a special announcement. Here's the photo to sum up the Labour Party conference at the weekend. Here it is. Yeah, groovy, eh? This is the Labour Party conference. That's Shannon Halbert out the left. He's the rainbow spokesperson for Labour. Because remember, rainbows in the sky have rights. Willie Jackson, and that's the Deputy Leader, Carmel Sepuloni there in the black top. And, I mean, what, is that two potential candidates? Are they standing in electorates for Labour this next year in the election? I mean, I don't know what it is. What's the obsession with drag queens? I mean, it's kind of like the go-to. You know, it used to be babies. Politicians used to love hanging around babies or cute Labradors. Hey, honey. Yeah. Fast asleep there, waiting for a walk. But politicians now no longer hold babies or cute puppies. Nope. They hang around drag queens. Well, at least those on the left anyway. Anyway, it's quite an interesting photo. Right, we are doing very well for time. Very exciting announcement tomorrow night. Well, it's not exciting because Simon's away. I mean, I'm sorry about that. Simon, safe travel. But Peter Williams is filling in. So tomorrow night we'll be discussing a number of these topics and I'll be getting Peter's opinion on a lot of these. So that's going to be fun tomorrow night at 5 o'clock. Oh, and here's a special announcement because Friday, not to be outdone by Simon, it's Daybreak's 100th episode. Now, those are my legs, contrary to what you may be thinking and contrary to the AI on Simon's photo. Those are actually my legs, although it is quite an old photo, actually. This photo was taken back in 2016 when I was doing the road trip around New Zealand. So there's a confession. You can tell by the colour of the hair. But anyway, it's the 100th episode of Daybreak. And you may be saying, well, didn't you start well after Simon started Solid Ground? That is true. I've caught up simply by virtue of doing 3 per week, and he does Tuesday and Thursday. I think I might go to the bosses about that and see if we can change that around. He should be doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I should be just doing Tuesday, Thursday, eh? Yeah, okay. Thanks for that suggestion. I will follow that up. All right, we have done so well today that I've got a little bit of time for comments, but the only problem is that my I can't put them on screen. Something's gone wrong with this computer, but let me just check it out anyway. Everybody's Sue says the school lunches on the hour, every hour, crying about mouldy lunch nonsense on ZB for the past 36 hours. And you can't tell me the kids ate the lunches. They complain when a speck of green is amongst their meal. That's right. They might have found a vegetable. Rosie says about the principals, it's been in the news already. Yes, it has. And all I say is put it in context. It started while Labor were in government as well. So it's a sector issue. It's not a national issue, national government or Erica Stanford. What else? Rosie says, hi, honey. Hi, honey. There we are. Somebody said hi to you. I might see if I can get it to come up. Honey, come say hello to people. Here we go, because we're a bit... Come on, up here, up. Say hello. Come on, up. There she is. Hello, everybody. Oh, the date's in your way. Come on, up. There we are. There she is. She's ready for a walk. She hasn't done an appearance for a while. Let me just check this one. Food Dogs Trucking says the old fly and the pie trick. Yeah, that complaint about the fly and the school lunches, which they could never corroborate. Murray says Peggy's gotcha moment. I think that's the principal of Hayata Community College. The whole school gets lunches. Not one family in that school can provide a lunch. And the other thing is even the staff get it. Apparently not one staff member in that whole school can provide lunch. Yeah. Fourth Adams says, are we going to have the food police coming to our homes to check what we are eating? Oh boy, better not come to our place, especially when I'm cooking. And also with 1 million servings of food, inevitably there will be a glitch. Exactly right. Jackie makes the point, and the teachers at school have been eating the lunches themselves, which is pretty good. Lisa says regarding PATHA and puberty blockers, no, it's their reaction, which is based on politics, more like. Exactly right. It's their ideology. They have a dangerous gender ideology, and they want to chemicalize and castrate the healthy body parts off kids. As I always say, they're the type of people who would want to give a young girl suffering from anorexia nervosa weight loss pills and book them in for a liposuction based on their logic. They can call me out and say no, they wouldn't. But if they wouldn't, I would just say, why not? And they would say, well, we should give them counselling and deal with the mind issue. Boom. There's your answer to gender dysphoria as well. Heal the mind, not cut the body. What else we got? Simply Green says 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. What's that, Simply Green? I'm not sure what you're referring to there. And what else we got? Jackie says, I listened to the audiobook 1984 and you can see what it is written about happening now. Exactly right. Simply Green says, rage bait isn't limited to online. The 6 o'clock news is rage bait a lot of the time. Exactly. Yeah, I feel your pain. Food Dogs Trucking wants to know, is Simon out of his tree hut? Yeah, he's got a new office and it's almost like a tree hut. He's very excited about it. He has a great time there. I think he, plays in it and then realizes he's online and so suddenly turns it into an office. But I'm jealous. I'm actually jealous that he's in this very neat tree hut. The Mouldy school lunch story is a perfect example of rage bait. Anyway, we have made fabulous time. It's time to go. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, Friday morning, a little bit of a celebration, 100th episode. So I might bring cake or a McMuffin or something like that, or a coffee. And don't forget, tomorrow night, Peter Williams is my guest on Political Playback. So looking forward to that. And don't forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's increase the influence. We're getting millions of views every year, and it's only going to get more next year. Anyway, have a great day, and we'll see you on Friday for the 100th episode. See ya.